My second pregnancy felt completely different from my first. I showed earlier. I felt more tired, and labor was half as long. But I also felt guilty constantly because I wasn't giving this baby the same excited, focused attention I gave my first. Today, I'm explaining how having a second baby is different from your first. The pregnancy, the birth, the recovery, and the reality of 2 kids. Because nobody tells you that everything changes when you go from 1 to 2. Hey everyone, I'm Diana and welcome back to Sweet Pregnant. I'm a doctor specializing in women's health and I'm a mom of 3. And here's what I've learned. The jump from 0 kids to 1 kid is huge. But the jump from 1 kid to 2 kids is a different kind of huge. With your first baby, everything is new and terrifying. With your second, you know what you're doing, but now you have to do it while also taking care of a toddler. The pregnancy is different. The birth is often different. And adjusting to life with 2 kids is its own unique challenge. So today, I'm walking you through all of it. What's easier, what's harder, and what surprised me the most about having a second baby. Let's start with the pregnancy itself. If you thought pregnancy would be the same the second time around, you're in for some surprises. You show earlier. With your first pregnancy, your abdominal muscles are tight. They hold everything in longer. With your second, those muscles have already been stretched. They remember what to do. I started showing at 12 weeks with my second baby. With my first, I didn't really show until 16 or 17 weeks. By the end, I also looked bigger with my second, even though the baby wasn't actually bigger. You feel the baby move earlier. With your first, you might not feel movement until 18 to 20 weeks because you don't know what you're looking for. With your second, you recognize those early flutters immediately. Many women feel movement as early as 15 to 16 weeks. You're more tired. With your first pregnancy, you could nap whenever you wanted. You could go to bed at 8 p.m. With your second, you're chasing a toddler all day. You can't rest when you're tired. You still have to parent your first child. The exhaustion hits differently. I remember being pregnant with my second and thinking, how did I ever complain about being tired during my first pregnancy? I had no idea how good I had it. You're less anxious about some things, more anxious about others. You're not panicking about every little symptom anymore. You know what's normal. But you might worry about how you'll manage 2 kids, whether you'll love the second baby as much as the first, or how your older child will handle the transition. You might have more aches and pains. Round ligament pain, back pain, and pelvic discomfort often start earlier and feel more intense with subsequent pregnancies. Your body remembers, your ligaments loosen faster. You're busier, so pregnancy goes faster. With your first, you had time to research every week of pregnancy, take bump photos, and prepare meticulously. With your second, you're just trying to survive. Suddenly, you're 30 weeks pregnant and you haven't even thought about the nursery. The pregnancy flies by because you're so busy with your first child. You might have more Braxton Hicks contractions. Your uterus knows what to do this time, so practice contractions might start earlier and feel stronger. This can make you think you're in labor when you're not, which is annoying. One of the biggest challenges of a second pregnancy is preparing your first child for the baby. When to tell them? If your older child is under 2, they won't really understand until the baby arrives. If they're 2 to 4 years old, wait until you're showing, around halfway through, so they have a visual reference, but don't have to wait forever. If they're older, you can tell them earlier, but be prepared for a lot of questions. How to prepare them? Read books about becoming a big sibling. Let them feel the baby kick. Involve them in preparations, picking out baby clothes, setting up the nursery. Talk about what babies do. Cry, eat, sleep, need lots of attention. Be honest that the baby will need a lot of your time at first, but you still love them just as much. Managing their expectations. Don't oversell how fun a sibling will be. Newborns are boring to toddlers. They can't play, they can't talk, they just lie there and cry. Your older child might be disappointed. My experience. My daughter was 2 when my son was born. We prepared her as much as we could, but she still struggled. She regressed in potty training. She started having tantrums. She wanted to be a baby again. It was a rough few months. The jealousy is real. Your first child has had you to themselves their whole life. Now they have to share you. That's a huge adjustment. Expect regression, clinginess, or acting out. It's normal. Here's the good news. Second labors are usually faster and easier than first labors. Why? Your body has done this before. Your cervix dilates faster. Your pelvis knows how to open. Your muscles remember what to do. How much faster? First-time moms typically labor for 12 to 24 hours or more. Second-time moms often labor for 4 to 8 hours. Some women have their second baby in just a couple of hours. My experience? My first labor was 18 hours. My second was 7 hours. I went from first contraction to holding my baby in 7 hours. It was intense but efficient. But faster doesn't always mean easier. Because labor progresses quickly, you might not have as much time to mentally prepare between stages. You might go from early labor to active labor to pushing very quickly, which can feel overwhelming. You might not make it to the hospital in time. This is a real concern with second babies. If your first labor was fast, or if you live far from the hospital, talk to your doctor about when to head to the hospital. With second babies, the rule is often to go earlier rather than waiting. Your body might labor more efficiently, but it also might labor more painfully. Some women find that second labors hurt more because contractions are stronger and closer together from the start. Complications can still happen. Just because your first birth went smoothly doesn't guarantee your second will. I had a vaginal birth with my first and ended up with an emergency C-section with my second because labor stalled and the baby's heart rate dropped. Every birth is different. VBAC, vaginal birth after cesarean. If you had a C-section with your first, you might be a candidate for VBAC with your second. Success rates are good for the right candidates, around 60 to 80%. Talk to your doctor about your specific situation. Recovering from your second birth is a mixed bag. What's easier? You know what to expect. You're not surprised by the bleeding, the pain, or the exhaustion. You know which products help: the padsicles, the sitz baths, the stool softeners. You're less anxious about every little thing. If you had a vaginal birth the first time, your second recovery is often easier because your body has done it before. What's harder? You can't just rest. You have a toddler who needs you. You can't nap when the baby naps because your older child is awake and demanding attention. You're trying to recover while also parenting a young child. It's exhausting. Breastfeeding might be easier. If you breastfed your first, breastfeeding your second is usually much smoother. You know how to get a good latch. You know what normal feels like. You're not panicking about supply, but you also have to figure out how to nurse while keeping your toddler occupied or safe. After pains are worse. With your first baby, after pains, the contractions that shrink your uterus back down are mild. With your second, they can be really painful, especially while breastfeeding. I remember wincing and breathing through after pains while nursing my second baby. They were stronger than I expected. You heal physically, but you're mentally and emotionally stretched thin. Your body recovers, but you're managing 2 kids now. The mental load is intense. The transition from 1 kid to 2 is the hardest part. The first few weeks are survival mode. You're feeding a newborn around the clock while also trying to keep a toddler fed, safe, and entertained. You feel like you're constantly juggling and dropping balls. You can't give the baby your full attention like you did with your first. This might make you feel guilty. With your first, you stared at them for hours. You took a million photos. You tracked every feeding and diaper. With your second, you're lucky if you remember what day it is. But here's the truth. Your second baby doesn't need that level of attention to thrive. They're fine. Your older child might struggle. Regression is common. Tantrums, clinginess, asking for a bottle or wanting to be held like a baby. They're adjusting to a massive change. Give them grace. Give yourself grace. Partner support is critical. If you have a partner, you need to divide and conquer. One person focuses on the toddler while the other handles the baby. Then you switch. Without teamwork, it's nearly impossible. Sleep deprivation hits differently. With your first baby, you slept when they slept. With your second, you're awake with the baby at night and then up with the toddler at 6 a.m. There's no break. I've never been as tired as I was in those first few months with 2 kids. But there are beautiful moments. Watching your older child interact with the baby is magical. When your toddler kisses the baby's head or brings them a toy, your heart melts. Those moments make the chaos worth it. Logistics are harder. Leaving the house with 2 kids is a production. Diaper bag, snacks, extra clothes, car seat, stroller, toddler shoes, baby bottles. The first time I tried to go to Target with both kids, I forgot half the stuff and had to turn around. You become more efficient. You can't overthink things anymore. You don't have time. You just do what needs to be done and move on. This is actually freeing in some ways. Your standards drop, and that's okay. Your house will be messier. You'll order takeout more. You'll let your toddler watch more TV. Survival mode isn't forever. You're doing your best. Let's talk about the guilt, because it's real and it's heavy. You feel guilty toward your first child. You can't give them as much attention. You're more tired and less patient. You worry you're ruining their life by giving them a sibling. You feel guilty toward your second child. You didn't obsess over every milestone. You didn't take as many photos. You didn't give them the same undivided focus. But here's what I learned. Your second child doesn't know what they're missing. They've never been an only child. This is their normal. And your first child gained so much from having a sibling. They learn to share, to be gentle, to navigate relationships. The guilt is based on comparison. You're comparing your experience with your second to your experience with your first. But they're different kids, different circumstances, different seasons of life. Different doesn't mean worse. Your second child gets a more experienced, confident parent. You're not panicking over every little thing. You know what actually matters. That's a gift. And one day, your kids will have each other. When you're gone, they'll still have a sibling. That relationship is priceless. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. Having a second baby is completely different from having your first. The pregnancy is different. Labor is usually faster. Recovery happens while chasing a toddler. The transition from 1 to 2 kids is hard. Harder than 0 to 1 in some ways because you can't just focus on the baby. You're managing 2 little humans with different needs. You'll feel guilty. That's normal. Guilty toward your first, guilty toward your second, guilty that you're not doing enough. But you're doing more than enough. You're doing your best in an impossible situation. It gets easier. The first few months are brutal. But it gets better. Your kids start playing together. Your older child becomes more independent. You find a rhythm. By 6 months, you'll feel like you're surviving. By a year, you'll feel like you're thriving. And here's the truth. I love having 2 kids. Watching them grow up together is one of the greatest joys of my life. Yes, it's hard, but it's also so good. If this video helped you feel prepared or less alone, hit that subscribe button. My next video is about pregnancy complications like preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, and placenta issues. Drop a comment. Do you have a second baby or are you expecting one? What's your biggest worry or question? You've got this. You're going to be an amazing mom to both of your kids. I'll see you in the next one.